Okay, next topic is a very important and interesting topic called virtual LANs, which stands for virtual local area networks, as you see in this virtual local area network. So, what is VLAN and what are the issues involved here? Why should we have it? We'll have a look at it. Okay, so let me start virtual LANs. See, in earlier days of networking, we used to have thick yellow cables snaking through. I'll show in the presentation here. Maybe you can see this diagram. Look at this diagram. The building with centralized wiring using hubs and switches. These are the ducts, cable duct, and these are all the cables, maybe using yellow cables and so on. I can have hubs, I can have a switch and interconnecting like this. So in earlier days of networking, thick yellow cables snake through the cable ducts of office building, right? No thought was given to which computer belong and which LAN. They were simply connected by means of one cable and then passing it through. This we also used to have, I do remember when we were studying, this is how basically it was being done. Now with the coming up of twisted pair, coaxial cables, etc., buildings were rewired with hubs and switches. Okay, but now the point is, in a company, for example, we can have a company you can take, or you can take a college as such, which may have different different departments as such. What happens is, suppose if there are k lands there, k is some value, like for example I k take 5, there are 5 departments, CSE, C mechanical, etc., or maybe in a company there are 5 organizations. So I want k lands, I want a separate LAN for each department. So if I want k LANs, people used to buy k switches, one switch per LAN. Okay, and to that switch we connect all the systems. Network admins like to group users on LAN based on their organizational structure rather than physical layout of the building. Why? Because I don't want any civil faculty to work on my CSC LAN and vice versa, right? Or maybe the people working in the HR department should not be allowed to access the finance department, should not be allowed to access the project lead department, and so on. So therefore, the organizational structure will impose some restrictions on this. So one LAN should host CSE, one LAN should host ECE, one LAN should hold mechanical, etc. So like that, if you talk in terms of software company, one LAN might host all servers, web servers, and then graphic servers, database servers, etc. And then another LAN may host the users or the people of HR department. Another LAN should hold the users of finance department, the employees of finance, employees of project, etc. So putting all computers on a single LAN does not make sense naturally. It does not make sense. The second issue is load. Some LANs may be very heavily used and while others will not be. So if I put everything on one LAN, this will not utilize, or this will not be a good idea. And the third issue will be traffic. Bridges broadcast traffic when the location of the destination is not known. As the number of computers grows, so therefore size of the broadcast will also grow, and this will lead to some problem called broadcast problem or broadcast storm problem. So this means that the companies want multiple LANs with restricted access and restricted scopes. Different people will have different accesses and different people will have different nature of traffic. So one way is to build physical topology to reflect the organizational structure, but this will incur a lot of cost, right? Different LANs meeting for different requirements will incur a lot of cost. And other problem is, suppose 2 people in the same department may work in the same building, in different buildings. Quite possible in one building, a person from finance is working, and another building, another finance person may be working. So two people in the same department, finance department or maybe HR department, may be working in different buildings. So in that case, this idea of physical structuring of LAN become difficult, did not? Because as we see in engineering colleges also, especially the non-teaching staff member, of course, teaching members does not have this problem. Non-teaching staff, people who are typists, who are DOs, right? What do you say? Electronic officer. Right, so they may get transferred from one department to another department. Person may get shifted from one department to another department. So therefore, this rewiring becomes a problem. So what I want is a sort of flexibility for network professionals, right? So that they can work out a feasible solution, optimal solution for all these constraints of having different type of traffic, different load, and also the flexibility of transferring the people from one to other. So this concept has led to a ideology. Let me close it. To an ideology called virtual LANs. So virtual LAN is a solution for all this, and it has also become an IEEE standard. There is an IEEE standard for virtual LAN. So it's a practical thing which is used for some time earlier. And these virtual LANs, because it is not physical, but gives an impression that basically I have separate LAN for different organization, different categories of the people. So these are implemented by means of VLAN aware switches. So we have special switches for virtual LANs, which are called VLAN aware switches. Okay. To set up a VLAN, network administrators will decide how many VLANs you want. So therefore, this is purely a software aspect. There is no hardware. Virtual LANs are implemented in the software. So you need network administrators who are aware with the usage of the VLANs, and then they can configure how many people are there. So different people will be configured on different virtual LANs. Like for example, if you see the presentation, next we'll see. So one LAN may be split, one physical, look at that, split one physical LAN into multiple logical LANs for management reasons, as I showed earlier. So how are we going to distinguish? So on the virtual LAN aware switch, we will have ports with different colors, red color, green color, blue color, gray color, white color, like that. So by means of the colors, you can distinguish where 802.1q frames carry one color tag virtual LAN identifier. This is a frame format. You don't have to go into the frame format. This is just for reference I have put here. Otherwise you can, this is one configuration you can see. Two virtual LANs, gray and white. So this gray is one virtual LAN, this gray. These are basically configured on a bridge LAN. This is one bridge LAN connected by means of bridges B1 and B2. These are all the hosts. Okay, so these hosts are and there is another LAN connected by means of a hub here. There is a one possible network. Two LANs or three multiple LANs are connected by means of two bridges. Okay, and they are basically splitted into two types of virtual LANs. One called gray host, the other called white host. So these are white host, these are gray host. So this configuration will be done in the virtual LAN setup. So what I suggest is, I have basically is a video for you, right? I have downloaded a video which is an excellent illustration of how virtual LANs are basically organized and implemented. So therefore I'll play the video for you. You can have a look at it and then conceptualize it. Okay. So this could be a simple 2 or 3 mark question which you can prepare notes for this, or maybe sometime they may ask 5 mark, but I believe from my side 5 mark is slightly lengthy. So otherwise 2 or 3 marks will be sufficient for virtual LANs. What is a virtual LAN? What are the benefits of virtual LAN? You can even watch the video and try to conceptualize. Okay, so let's go to the video now.
VLAN stands for Virtual Local Area Network. A VLAN is a local area network where the computers, servers, and other network devices are logically connected regardless of their physical location. So even if these devices are scattered in different places, it wouldn't matter, because a VLAN can logically group them into separate virtual networks. And the purpose of a VLAN is for improved security, traffic management, and to make a network simpler. So as an example, let's say you have a 3-story office building, and in this building you have computers that belong to certain departments that are mixed in with computers that belong to other departments on the same floor. So the red computers represents the accounting department, the blue computers represent the shipping department, and the green computers represent the support department. Now, as you can see, all these computers from these different departments are all connected to a switch. So they are all on one segment on a local area network, or LAN. So all the network broadcast traffic are mixed in with other departments. So the departments are all seeing each other's network traffic. Now suppose, as a network administrator, you wanted to separate the network broadcast traffic from these departments from each other, so that the accounting department doesn't see any traffic from support, support doesn't see any traffic from shipping, and so on. Now, one way to solve this is to physically move the computers that belong to the same department and put them together such as putting them on the same floor and deploying extra network hardware and cabling, but that could be a hassle and unnecessary work. But there is an easier way to accomplish this, and that is by creating VLANs. By using VLANs on a VLAN-capable switch, you can logically create several virtual networks to separate network broadcast traffic. So in this case, we're going to create 3 VLANs for the 3 different departments. So we're going to create a VLAN for the accounting department, and then we'll create another VLAN for the support department, and then we'll create one for the shipping department. So now, as the VLANs are implemented, the traffic between the 3 departments are isolated, so they won't see any traffic created from the other departments. They will only see their own network traffic, even though all the computers from the different departments share the same cabling and switch. So in our example, the VLANs were created on the switch, and this is done by designating specific ports on the switch and assigning those ports to a specific VLAN. So on the switch, we'll create a VLAN for the support department. So we'll plug all the computers that belong to the support department into those ports. Then we'll designate another set of ports on the switch and create another VLAN for the accounting department. And finally, we'll designate another set of ports on the switch for another VLAN for the shipping department. And as you can see, the network traffic is separated between the departments because of the VLANs. So, as stated before, there are several different reasons for creating VLANs, but one of the main reasons is for traffic management, because as a local area network grows and more network devices are added, the frequency of the broadcasts will also increase, and the network will get heavily congested with data. But by creating VLANs, which divide up the network into smaller broadcast domains, it will help alleviate the broadcast traffic.